أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. We are truly indebted to God for giving us this opportunity that we are here, and we are given another chance, an opportunity to redeem ourselves and get closer to our Creator, and that should be the aspiration that we all have, and should be our goal, that God has bestowed this blessing upon us today, that we are able to do this and we are willing to do this, and so it's not something by accident. This is by divine design and providence that God has given us this length of time and this huge blessing and opportunity and honor that He's bestowed upon us today. So we should be grateful to God and to the source of everything that we have, and make sure that we are appreciative of this fact, that we are here by divine design. So we should again make sure that we are stay worthy of this blessing and this huge honor that God has bestowed upon us, and continue doing this for us, that we get closer to Him and enjoy making contact with Him, and through these contact prayers. And today is a special one, and that you're doing in a congregational manner. And so this is sort of the highlight of our week that passed by so quickly, and there's our life passing by right in front of our eyes, and we are indebted to God for this huge honor that we have today. So what I want to talk to you about today is that God is telling us that those who believe and lead a righteous life. Okay, and so what is this righteous life? Okay, and God is telling us that give us these commandments in the Quran, that in the Scripture as a whole, and we're supposed to obey those, the instruction that He gives us, and put them into action. Okay, we cannot pick and choose which one we want to follow and which one we don't like to follow. Okay, if we do that, by definition, that's shirk. That means that God has told us something, but for some reason we know better than God. We know something He doesn't know, and so we're substituting that for God's commandments or instructions. Okay, so God sees all, and He knows all. Okay, so look at it this way. Okay, and God is in the minds and the hearts of people, all of the creatures. Okay, at the same time, the same place. Okay, a creature in the other galaxy, I don't know where. Okay, could be a billion light years away from us, and a creature here on Earth. Okay, and He knows about all of these at the same time. Okay, we can't do that because we need time to get there and come back and things like that. But that's not an issue for God. And so these two creatures, they are thinking about something. Okay, are they thinking about something good, or they're thinking about something evil? Okay, if they are doing something evil, that's hurtful to God. That is not what His will is. Okay, He's told us what His will is. And so that kind of action, and at the same time, God is following the dream of a cat somewhere in the universe. Okay. Can you imagine that? So all of this stuff is transparent to God, and God sees all, and He is all. Okay? So we have to make sure, okay, when He says, thou shalt not lie, we make sure that we do not lie. Okay? Lying disturbs God. If you lie, that is not because that's God's will. This is your will. He told you what His will is. When He says, do not bear false witness, okay? You do not do that. If you do that, that is your will. That is not His will. A lot of people say, oh, it's God's will. No, it's not. That's the wrong thing to say. God does not advocate evil. That is not His will. He knows you're going to do that, but that's a completely different thing than being His will. He deals with it, obviously. He deals with it with the liars, with the cheaters, with the adulterers, okay? With those people who covet, okay, things that do not belong to them. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or anything that belongs to him. If you do that inside, this coveting inside your mind, if you do that, that disturbs God. That is not pleasing to God. So we have to be extra careful about this. Okay? Those are righteous acts. Those are righteous deeds. That's leading a righteous life. Okay. Then He also says, give to charity. Okay. Well, we pay taxes. All kinds of stuff comes in there in order to stop that. Okay. Did you know that there are 22.7 million millionaires in the United States? A total of about 54 million all over the world. Okay. With this kind of wealth, does anybody have to go hungry? A total combined holding and wealth of these people, okay, is you are talking about almost a fifth of a quadrillion dollars. Okay. Not trillion anymore. Quarter of a trillion or fifth of a quadrillion, okay, as 15 zeros. Okay. So in this kind of environment, does anybody have to go hungry? Do 825 million have to go hungry? Isn't that a shame? And all he asked was 2.5%. Not all he asked. And all kinds of excuses come in there that they don't want to do this. And we calculate that's exactly what it is. Okay. And that is amazing. That is leading a righteous life. So all those do's and don'ts. Okay. The first commandment, believe in God alone. La ilaha illallah. Okay. And then the rest of it is leading a righteous life. And so you cannot pick and choose. You have to go exactly with God's instructions. So we cannot keep feeding our own egos. We do that. If we have problems with one of those commandments that God has given us, do's and don'ts, any of them, okay? In effect, we are an idol worshiper. We are somebody who is actually putting his understanding or her understanding above what God is instructing us to do. By definition, that's called shirk, which means you are setting up a partner for God now. Because his commandment is not the leading commandment anymore. Yours is. Okay. And these are not according to God's will. Okay? God's will is very clear what it is. Okay? As a matter of fact, they say that, if it wasn't God's will, we would not be other worshippers. No, it's your will. You decided to do that, and that's what you have to live with. God is not doing that. God is not advocating evil. God is not telling you to lie. Did he tell you to go and lie? Did he tell you to go and commit adultery? Did he tell you to covet? He told you exactly the opposite. That is his will. That is your will that you're doing that. It has nothing to do with God. Okay? He happens to know that you're going to do that. But God knows everything, as I said, okay? He knows exactly at this time the dreams of the people were asleep, the dreams of the preacher were asleep right now in this universe. Okay? And elsewhere. We don't know the extent of it. Okay? He knows that. Okay? But those kind of things that we go through life, and they are opposing his commandment and his will, is going to be disturbing to him. Not going to be pleasing to him. Okay? God is not going to be pleased with them. And on the opposite side, they are not going to be pleased with God because they don't like those things that he says. They have their own ideas about things, which supersedes God's commandments and God's will. Okay? So, again, what I'm trying to say is the following, that we have to fix ourselves first and look at those do's and don'ts. Those do's and don'ts are leading a righteous life. And if we do not follow those rules, we are gonna see the consequence, and the consequences are not good. Okay, we're not going to have security. We're not going to have peace of mind. We're going to be always in some kind of, some kind of tempest inside our souls, which is going to disturb us in this world. And hereafter, God says that, this is awaiting you. This is not going to be good. It's not going to be pleasant. And so we have to remember these things. There's a reason for what God is telling us. We redefine things for God. We think that we know better. And the consequence of those ideas, that kind of ideology, is severe and grave, and is going to take us to some place that we don't want to be. So we have to abide by his laws. We have to abide by his will, because those are the stuff that are good for us. Those are leading a righteous life. We cannot steal. We cannot betray. We cannot lie. We cannot bear false witness. Okay. And then he's got test cases that he gives. Okay. You shall honor Sabbath. And people are falling like autumn leaves. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Okay, fine. A group of you didn't do that, and they became monkeys. That's what God says in the Quran. And do you want to be like that? No, it just happened to those people. Really? Is God that unjust? That a group of people who violate the Sabbath did not honor it, they became monkeys, and the rest of them, they can get scot-free. Oh, it's fine. We can do anything we want to. Only those people. Is that God? Who tells you that? These are test cases. Remember those guys who said, okay, change the Qibla. Remember that? That was a test. God wanted to see who is following God and his messenger. Okay? That was the idea, to test them. Okay? Then God rechanged it. He said, this is your Qibla now, and wherever you are, this is what you have to face. Okay? That is righteousness. Some of those people, they obeyed God and his messenger, and somebody didn't.
Hello?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we have to, again, for our own sake, okay, for our own well-being, let's put it this way, okay, we have to make sure that we are doing the do's and don'ts. Okay, that's what we have to do, because that is leading a righteous life, and it is required. You cannot just keep saying, oh, we believe in God alone, and that's it. And you think that that's it? Your test is over? No, not by a long shot. You go through these tests. Okay? That's what God says. Just say we believe it, and you thought that this is it. No, you got to go through these tests. So your character will be exposed, either bad or good. So that's what the difference between that person is and the person who doesn't do these things. We have to, again, as I said, we have to follow that path, make sure that we are doing this. When God says something in the Quran, that is, it is for our own well-being. Okay. And God tolerates these things. Can you imagine that? All these thoughts going on. Okay. Thoughts of murder, thoughts of adultery, thoughts of all kinds of things, greed, okay, goes on in people's heads, and God sees it and he tolerates. Gives you another chance. Okay. But we cannot keep doing that. Okay. There may not be enough time. That's what God says. Okay, but it's too late. You better change. Remember those guys who dilly-dallied? Okay, we'll do it later. Okay, we cheated our own souls, we dilly-dallied and things like that. Okay, and it doesn't want to work out. Okay, they ended up in hell with no light. Okay, Father, give us some of your light. So we have to make sure, okay, that we go along with the do's and the don'ts. Then we'll be a better person. We'll be a happier person. God will teach us more. He will explain things to you that was not explained to you before. But God forbid, if, as I said, if we go ahead and continue with doing that, when God tells us something, we don't like it, we substitute our own opinion, our own will, for God's will. And that is, by definition, is shirk. So you really do not believe in God alone. Let's put it that way. Okay. I'm going to stop here and finish this.